This topic is on ideation and the entrepreneurial mindset. Ideation is how you come up with ideas to fuel your innovation. Innovative ideas are by definition creative. So what's creativity? What's a creative person, a creative idea? I'm going to give you some ideas about creativity that may be really, really different, very, very strange. So pay attention. It's fun, but wow. So think of if you think of a creative person, maybe you'll come up with the idea of a songwriter. Wow, creative. Except there's a discipline that surrounds that, a rigid discipline of meter and often rhyme that the song must follow. It's that surrounding discipline that through which the creativity is applied. So whenever you think of creativity, it's usually within a bounded environment. You can't have creativity that's open-ended. Doesn't work, period. So as we think of creativity, just a good idea isn't enough. It's a good idea that solves a real problem and that has an impact. Somebody who sits around and just thinks of good ideas, creative ideas, that's not the creativity that any entrepreneur can use. There are some academics who studied this who are really great. Mahay Csikszentmihalyi, he goes by Mike because nobody can pronounce his name, has written a whole book on that, studies it a lot. You'll be presented with his 5 stages or steps in the creative process. The last one is what you do to make that, to bring that creative idea into the world to make it change the world. And Thomas Edison's idea on this is probably the best, where creativity is 1% inspiration, the good idea, and 99% perspiration, the hard work of making it happen. So you'll encounter a number of different ways of thinking about creativity. That's good because creativity has lots of aspects to it. If you think you're not creative, forget that. Everyone is and can be creative. You can learn to be more creative. And in fact, there'll be 2 clear ideas that you're given on how to be more creative. So first is creativity happens in your brain. When is your brain creative? Not how, when. You'll learn that. Second is, okay, you have a task, you have an issue to resolve. How does that happen? How does the creative assimilation of pieces happen? It happens in your sleep. Again, that may seem counterintuitive, but read this and understand it, because this is the stuff that our scientific studies have surprisingly determined. They reinforce the way that creative thinkers have been producing creative ideas prodigiously. One of whom, for example, is founding father Alexander Hamilton. You'll read about how he comes up with the ideas to keep up a prodigious writing of the Federalist Papers and others. We'll encounter topics like luck and risk, and I think you'll find it interesting to see how those go together. And you'll end with an introduction to one of the most important people in thinking and thinking about the future and thinking about thinking, John Seely Brown. He was the chief scientist of Xerox Corporation. His team developed much of what you use every day, the modern Microsoft and Apple computer interfaces, overlapping windows, bitmapped fonts, laser printers, mouse control, Ethernet. His team did all of that. He's one of the most in-demand consultants by Fortune 500 companies and governments. You may understand half of what he says. Treasure that. The reason is because he thinks so high above how we normally think and how you are normally used to hearing things. He's one of a kind. There's no proper place to put him in a study of entrepreneurship. Could be beginning and middle, because he transcends all of our categories. John Seely Brown, I hope you enjoy him and our investigation of creativity.